Ukraine, historically known as the breadbasket of Europe. Today, however, the economic heritage of communism has engendered a deep sense of despair. Unemployment is estimated at over 50%. 30% of young adults have gone abroad in search of some kind of work, and those who stay often receive a salary of no more than $20 per month. One of the grimmest social consequences is simply that more and more children are being abandoned. It is estimated that 20% of children in the capital, Kiev, live on the street. Many parents, desperate at their inability to support their families, are increasingly confiding their children to state orphanages. The state structures, however, are often in no better position to take care of the children.
The children remain in the orphanage, either because they have nowhere to go or because parents cannot afford to feed and dress them. The state of educational institutions reflects the devastated situation of the Ukraine. We allocate 2.5 hryvnias, about 45 cents, to feed one child. That's not much if you consider that we need 4 to 6 hryvnias, about 70 cents, to $1.10. That would be enough, although prices continue to go up every day, so it's difficult to say exactly what the cost of feeding a child is. But because of the shortfall, the children do not receive sufficient amounts of fish, milk, and meat products. Teachers can't normally afford to buy training materials for themselves and those they teach. They have to cultivate potatoes or do other things at home. Their pay is not enough to survive.
In similar situations internationally, it is the Catholic Church that has often provided social and educational care to the poorest. 70 years of state atheism, however, relegated the Greek Catholic Church to the margins of society. And even now, after 10 years of religious freedom, the Church still has very few such structures in place.
Now that persecution has stopped and the Church is active to carry out social and humanitarian work, but there are a lot of cases where this awareness is not there. And the government will not do anything, and also they will block what the Church would like to do.
The situation is so desperate and the need so urgent, however, that many state orphanages are actively seeking and inviting the Church to assist in the education and care for the young.
I must say that God Himself sent us Sister Julia and Father Mikola, who constantly help us. St. Nicholas Day, when Father Mikola and Sister Julia arrived for the first time, the children will surely remember for the rest of their lives. Father Mikola will always be St. Nicholas, who came from heaven. The children were expecting a guest. Then suddenly, from out of the car emerges Father Mikola dressed as St. Nicholas and sisters as angels. That made an enormous impression on the children. When looking out of the window, they saw that St. Nicholas had really arrived to be with them. When we saw that the children needed us, we started to come on a regular basis. We started looking for sponsors to finance clothes. When we received financial assistance for the orphanage, we were able to come more often. These occasions then became opportunities to talk with the children. It all began spontaneously, but then year after year it became permanent, and so it stayed.
The despair, the relative ease of finding drugs and alcohol result in the fact that many children are born from alcoholic parents and as such suffer learning disabilities. Often they have been abandoned precisely because of this disability, and the fact that the parents are not able to pay for special education and required care.
Orphans are among the most wronged and disadvantaged, for they have no parents and no material security. It is that gave birth to a need within me to work with them. With time, I saw the fruits of my labor, for children respond to warmth, but not during catechism. In fact, they rarely respond then because they are often late developers, so they stand out. No, rather they respond when we are holding hands, going somewhere, talking and listening. Many of them do not understand what I am saying. Vasilko, for example, but he feels the heart. For him as for me, that is the most important part of catechism.
Гарний Ісус, гарний. Може, хтось з великодних пісень щось пам'ятає про Воскресіння Ісуса? Великодні пісні Христос. Христос воскрес, Христос воскрес. Його сусід вбив тата. І він бачив.
A neighbor killed his father. He saw this and suffered greatly because of it, and as a consequence continually ran away from the orphanage. He would be found somewhere in the woods or in the snow. Once he nearly drowned in the pond. But once Father Mikola began coming, it was as if he became a father to him.
Ісуса в оті ми бачимо, а тут що? В оті його 12 апостолів. І всі вони сумні, що він возноситься на небо. Як ми тут видав Василю, він то, потім перший, щоб він здоровий.
Because he has no father, he approaches every man he meets and hugs him. That child's heart was like a shell, very hard. But when it softened, that moment was a great reward for me. Somehow, I feel that what is important is not whether they learn the 10 Commandments by heart. Being late developers, they probably will not. Rather, that they feel that someone loves and needs them.
The presence of the nuns communicates not only God's love, but also acts as a role model, teaching life skills to children often arriving from shattered environments.